Just first off, on the membership selling out, how exciting is that for you guys to hear that?
Yeah, it's so cool. It's often, one of the first questions when we get there on game day, what we ask the front office staff. It's like, how's the crowd looking? Because it really does mean so much for us to play in front of all our fans. So for our full season memberships to be sold out this early in the preseason, it speaks volumes to the growth of the club, the growth of our fan base, and just how committed they are to supporting us.
Speaking of some of that growth, obviously you've been around for a little while, you've played for a few clubs. How do you see the transition and the popularity? How have you viewed that over the years?
It really is remarkable. I think even just in Melbourne, the last couple of years of the Tigers, there would be games where we would get great crowds, but predominantly we were playing in a smaller arena. The crowds were down around the 2,000 to 3,000 people mark, which at the time it was just that's all we knew. So to come forward, 10 odd years, and I think we sold out like 85% of our home games, and you go on the road, you're playing in front of sellouts in almost every arena. I think if you told that kid back then, I might not believe it, but super proud to be a part of it, and not just how well our team and our organisation are going and how they've contributed to that, but how the league as a whole is going as well is it's really pleasing.
Is today your first full day back with training?
I've been at training. I went away for a little bit and came back and jumped in the competitive stuff for the first time today, but I have been at training doing stuff, yeah.
What was it like to get out there today then and get back into it?
Yeah, it was cool. The offensive side of things kind of comes naturally. I joked to the physio I hadn't played defense in over a month, so he said I hadn't played in 35 years, but it was good to get back out there and just get those competitive juices flowing again and get amongst the boys.
Can you give us an idea of, once you didn't make the Olympic team, what your off-season looked like and what the preparation looked like going into this season?
I came back to training, did a couple things that I had to fulfill commercially, which took me out of training for a few days here or there, but for the most part, just got back into training and put my eyes towards the next thing.
When you're watching the team sort of work out, when you're looking from the outside looking in and then you go join them, what have you noticed as far as maybe growth from last season and how competitive they're looking right now?
Yeah, I think there was, as we shorten our rotation towards the back end of the year, there's some guys that unfortunately didn't play a lot of minutes that now look ready to fight for minutes and hopefully play a lot of minutes and contribute, for the growth of our club going forward and our roster where we see it moving. There's some people on this team that need to play a lot of minutes and have responsibility thrust upon them. So hopefully we can see that through the early stages of the season and, opportunity can present itself and they can grab it.
This is a team that's been together for a little bit and you've got guys coming in who've been here before. It's very known what this team is. What do you guys get out of preseason games?
Oh, I think, it's kind of known what style we're going to play and, everyone thinks we're going to play, but, you have to have a growth in your system and your culture and, everything you do on the day-to-day basis. Otherwise, you just, you stay in the same spot and you get overrun. So we're continually trying to, mold our game and our style in a little bit of a different direction. As things move in the basketball world, you always got to be ready to adapt. So just seeing how they stack up against other teams. Generally teams we're playing are a little bit further along. We tend to have some people come in a little bit later in this team. So just seeing how we're stacking up against the other teams of the competition and get those competitive juices flowing.
You clinched a couple of personal records last year. It was most three-pointers in a season, most three-pointers in a championship series as well. I think it was something else. But how do you keep one-upping yourself each season? Is it experience? Is there something extra that you're doing? Do you set the personal challenge for yourself?
No, I definitely don't set those goals to try and hit the most threes. But I think experience plays into it a little bit. I know what to expect in certain circumstances and just finding a role within the team from year to year. Sometimes you get more looks, sometimes you get less. So I think maybe last year shot the ball pretty well early on and just led to a bit bigger of a role.
There was a possession here where you sort of kicked it to Jack White at the top, he hit a three. You had there was something that came across your face. It was almost like a sense of excitement that if this is what he's going to be doing this season, that'd be very cool. I asked Dean the same question, but what's the difference between the Jack that we're seeing now and that we're going to see this season compared to the one what we saw last time?
Yeah, I think he's, I don't want to say he's more complete. He's more polished in certain areas. I think he's more sure of himself, more confident in what he can do as a player and as an athlete. And, as we just spoke about, it comes with experience. You find out about yourself through certain situations. So I love that he's leaning into his three-point shooting. Anywhere he goes, you shoot with him, drills, all this sort of stuff. He's right up in the top echelon. He barely misses. So him being able to transfer that confidence and that ability out onto the floor is something that I'm really excited about. And he's going to go through rough stretches, but having the confidence and the mindset that, hey, we need you to be a threat from the three-point line, along with all the other, championship level qualities he brings, is going to be something that we need to stay on him, and we expect him to excel.